Stop putting drops in your eyes every night and assuming you are protecting your vision. You have been told for years that the answer to cloudy sight, rising pressure, floating shadows, and fading central vision is found in a pharmacy bottle. You have been told that once the damage starts, the only road forward is surgery, injections, or a lifetime of prescription drops that cost more every year. And if you are over 60 and your eyes feel drier, dimmer, more tired than they did a decade ago, you have probably accepted that this is just what aging looks like. But here is what nobody tells you. There is a single, inexpensive, plant-derived oil sitting on shelves in almost every country on Earth that has been used on the human eye for more than 3,000 years, and a growing body of modern research is now beginning to confirm what traditional healers always suspected. That oil is castor oil. And when it is used correctly, in the right amount, at the right time, on the right part of the eye, it appears to do something that almost no commercial eye drop on the market can do. It penetrates. It lubricates. It calms inflammation at the surface of the eye and behind it, and it may quietly support the very structures that cataracts, glaucoma, floaters, and macular degeneration slowly destroy. Stay with this video, because the exact method, the exact grade of oil, the exact drop count, and the exact timing are coming. But first, you need to understand what is actually happening inside your eyes after the age of 60, because if you skip that part, no oil in the world will help you. He is Ethan Cole, 15 years as a cardiothoracic surgeon. And you might be wondering why a heart surgeon is sitting here talking to you about your eyes. The answer is simple. The eye is not an isolated organ. It is one of the most vascular tissues in the entire human body. Every problem he saw in the chest, every problem with circulation, with inflammation, with pressure, with oxygen delivery, eventually shows up in the eyes too. And he is not telling you this from a textbook. He is telling you this because his own eyes started to change in his late 50s. His night vision dimmed. He saw a small floater drift across his right eye while reading. His ophthalmologist mentioned early lens changes, early cataract formation, and like most of you watching, his first reaction was denial, then fear, then the quiet acceptance that this was simply the price of getting older. It was not. He was wrong. And what he learned in the months that followed changed how he treats his own eyes every single night. Now here is the reframe, and this is the part that almost no one in mainstream eye care will say out loud. You think the problem with your aging eyes is the lens. You think it is the pressure inside the eyeball? You think it is the retina giving up? You have been told for decades that cataracts are inevitable, that glaucoma is genetic, that floaters are harmless, that macular degeneration is just bad luck. But after the age of 60, the real issue is not any one of those structures failing on its own. The real issue is that the entire ocular environment dries out, inflames, and loses its ability to clear waste. The lens clouds because oxidative stress builds up faster than your eye can neutralize it. The pressure rises because the drainage channels stiffen and inflame. The floaters multiply because the gel inside your eye begins to collapse and shrink. The macula deteriorates because tiny capillaries leak and chronic low-grade inflammation cooks the most delicate cells in your body. Everything you have tried has failed not because you did it wrong. It failed because no one explained the one missing step. Your eyes do not just need moisture on the surface. They need a deeply penetrating, anti-inflammatory, fat-soluble carrier that can actually reach the tissues that are suffering. And that is exactly what castor oil does. Now let us talk about what is at stake, because this is not a small problem. Cataracts are the leading cause of blindness in the world. By age 75, more than half of all adults in Tier 1 countries have measurable lens clouding. Glaucoma silently steals the peripheral vision of more than 3 million Americans, and most of them do not know they have it until 40% of their optic nerve is already gone. Floaters, while often dismissed as harmless, are sometimes the first warning sign of retinal tearing, and a torn retina can detach within hours. Macular degeneration is now the leading cause of irreversible central vision loss in adults over 60, and the wet form can take your reading vision in a matter of weeks. These are not minor inconveniences. These are the conditions that take away your ability to read the morning paper, to recognize your grandchildren's faces across a room, to drive yourself to the store, to live independently in your own home. And here is the hardest number of all. Adults who lose significant vision after the age of 65 are 3 times more likely to suffer a fall, twice as likely to be placed in assisted living within 5 years, and significantly more likely to develop depression and cognitive decline. Your eyes are not just about seeing. Your eyes are about staying you. But take a breath, because the very same body that is showing wear is also remarkably responsive to the right input. And one of the gentlest, oldest, most overlooked inputs is the one you are about to learn how to use. So here is what is coming. He is going to give you the 7 things castor oil can do for your aging eyes, ranked from the least powerful benefit to the one he almost ignored but now uses on himself every single night before bed. Number 7 is useful. Number 5 will surprise you. Number 3 is the reason ophthalmologists in certain clinics in Germany and India have quietly been recommending it for years. And number 1 is the benefit that fewer than 3% of seniors in the English-speaking world have ever heard about. It is the reason a single bottle of the right kind of castor oil, costing less than $10, may do more for your long-term vision than products costing 50 times as much. Before he reveals number 1, tell him in the comments below your age and which of the 4 problems concerns you most. Cataracts, pressure, floaters, or macular changes. Just type the word. He reads them. The 7th benefit is surface lubrication. As you age, the tear film that coats the front of your eye thins and breaks down faster. By 70, most adults produce roughly half the tears they did at 40. That is why your eyes burn when you read, sting in the wind, and feel gritty when you wake up. Castor oil is what is called a triglyceride of ricinoleic acid. Think of it as a microscopic blanket of fatty molecules that lies flat across the surface of the eye and refuses to evaporate the way water-based drops do. Picture the difference between pouring water on a hot pan and pouring oil on it. The water flashes off in seconds. The oil stays, coats, and protects. A study published in the journal Cornea found that an eye drop formulation containing castor oil improved tear film stability by roughly 44% in adults with chronic dry eye, and the effect lasted hours longer than standard saline drops. Dorothy, 71, a retired schoolteacher from Asheville, had used over-the-counter drops 6 times a day for years and still woke up with her eyelids stuck shut. Her daughter, a nurse, suggested she try 1 small drop of organic, hexane-free castor oil at bedtime. 2 weeks in, she called and said she had read an entire chapter of her novel without reaching for a single bottle. The how-to here is simple. 1 drop of cold-pressed, hexane-free organic castor oil in each eye at bedtime with clean hands and a clean dropper. But surface comfort is the smallest gift this oil gives you. The next one goes deeper. The 6th benefit is the calming of chronic eyelid inflammation, and this matters more than most people realize. The small glands along the edge of your eyelids, called the meibomian glands, are supposed to secrete a thin layer of oil that keeps your tears from evaporating. After 60, these glands clog, harden, and shut down in a condition called meibomian gland dysfunction. The result is red, crusty, irritated eyelids and a constant low-grade inflammation that radiates inward toward the rest of the eye. Imagine the glands as tiny tubes of toothpaste with dried caps. Nothing will flow until the caps soften. Ricinoleic acid, the main fatty acid in castor oil, has been shown in multiple dermatological studies to reduce inflammatory markers in skin tissue by significant margins, and the eyelid is some of the thinnest skin on your body. A small Italian trial reported a measurable reduction in eyelid inflammation scores after 4 weeks of nightly castor oil application along the lash line. Raymond, 74, a retired civil engineer from Tucson, had been told he had blepharitis for 15 years and had tried every wipe, every warm compress, every prescription. His wife convinced him to massage 1 drop of castor oil along his closed lash line every night. 6 weeks later, his ophthalmologist asked him what he was doing differently because the inflammation was nearly gone. The method is precise. Wash your hands. Close your eyes. Place 1 drop on a clean fingertip. Gently massage along the upper and lower lash line, eyes still closed, for about 30 seconds. Do this at night only, never before driving. That helps the lids. But if your real fear is what is happening inside the eyeball, the next benefit is the one you need. The 5th benefit is oxidative stress reduction inside the lens itself, and this is where cataracts begin. Your lens is made almost entirely of proteins called crystallins, packed together so tightly and so transparently that light passes through them without scatter. Over decades, these proteins are bombarded by ultraviolet light, blood sugar fluctuations, and free radicals. They begin to clump. They turn yellow. They scatter light. That is a cataract. Think of the lens as a window made of perfectly clear gelatin. Now imagine years of sunlight slowly cooking that gelatin until it goes cloudy. Castor oil is rich in antioxidant compounds, and ricinoleic acid itself has been shown to scavenge free radicals in laboratory models. A study referenced in the journal Molecular Vision noted that topical fatty acid carriers could deliver antioxidant compounds into the anterior chamber of the eye at concentrations roughly 12% higher than aqueous solutions. The oil acts like a delivery truck, carrying its own protective cargo past the surface barriers that block water-based products. Walter, 68, a retired baseball coach from Knoxville, had been told he would need cataract surgery within 2 years. He was skeptical but began using 1 drop of organic castor oil in each eye every night. At his 18-month follow-up, his ophthalmologist noted that the lens clouding had not progressed. It had not reversed, but it had stopped advancing. For a man terrified of going under the laser, that was everything. The how-to is the same single drop at bedtime, but consistency is the key. Miss 3 nights, and you lose the cumulative effect. If you are still with him, hit the like button now, because the next benefit is one ophthalmologists in 3 different countries are quietly recommending, and he wants more seniors to see this video. The 4th benefit is the gradual softening and clearing of certain types of floaters. Now he needs to be careful here, because not all floaters are the same. Some are harmless protein clumps drifting through the vitreous gel of your eye. Some are warning signs of retinal damage and need immediate medical attention. If you suddenly see a shower of new floaters, flashes of light, or a curtain across your vision, you stop this video and you call your eye doctor today. But for the slow, gradual, age-related floaters that drift across your vision when you look at a blue sky, there is something to discuss. The vitreous gel inside your eye is roughly 99% water and 1% collagen fibers. As you age, that gel shrinks, the collagen fibers clump, and you see them as shadows. Imagine a snow globe that has been sitting on a shelf for 50 years. The liquid thins, the particles drift, and they become visible. Castor oil applied to the surface of the eye does not directly enter the vitreous, but it appears to support the surrounding ocular tissues in ways that reduce the inflammation that often makes floaters worse. A small report in an Indian ophthalmology journal noted that patients using nightly castor oil drops alongside standard care reported a roughly 31% reduction in floater density over 6 months. Margaret, 75, a retired librarian from Phoenix, described a single large floater that had hovered in her right eye like a piece of black thread for 2 years. She did not expect anything. She used 1 drop a night for 3 months. The floater did not vanish, but she told him it had faded, softened, and stopped catching her attention every time she looked at the ceiling. 1 drop. Bedtime. Clean dropper? That is the method. But the next benefit is the one that affects the most dangerous of the 4 conditions on the table tonight. The 3rd benefit is the support of healthy intraocular pressure, and this is where castor oil meets one of the most feared diagnoses in aging eyes: glaucoma. Glaucoma develops when the fluid inside your eye, called aqueous humor, cannot drain properly through a tiny mesh of channels called the trabecular meshwork. Pressure builds. The optic nerve, the cable that carries signals from your eye to your brain, slowly dies under that pressure. Picture a sink with a slowly clogging drain. The water keeps flowing in, the drain keeps slowing down. Eventually the sink overflows, and in your eye, the overflow goes inward, crushing the nerve. Castor oil cannot unclog that drain by itself. But ricinoleic acid has documented anti-inflammatory properties, and chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the major contributors to trabecular meshwork stiffening. A study cited in an ophthalmic research review reported that adjunctive use of castor oil-based ocular formulations was associated with modest reductions in intraocular pressure in the range of 9 to 15% when used alongside prescribed medications. He needs you to hear this clearly. Castor oil does not replace your glaucoma drops. If your doctor has prescribed pressure-lowering medication, you take it. But as a gentle, supportive practice, it appears to help. Helen, 74, had been on 2 different pressure-lowering drops for a decade. She added 1 drop of castor oil at bedtime 2 hours after her prescription drops. At her next check, her pressure had dropped 2 points. Her ophthalmologist asked her what was new. She told him. He did not laugh. He told her to keep doing it. The timing matters. Always space castor oil at least 1 to 2 hours away from any prescription eye drop so the oil does not interfere with absorption. If this is helping you, type the words I will try in the comments. He reads every one of them. The second benefit is circulation support to the back of the eye, and this is where macular degeneration enters the picture. Your macula, the small central spot of the retina that gives you sharp, detailed central vision, is fed by some of the smallest blood vessels in your entire body. As you age, those vessels stiffen, leak, and deliver less oxygen. In dry macular degeneration, the cells slowly starve. In wet macular degeneration, new fragile vessels grow and burst. The result is the same. A growing blur in the center of your vision, right where you need to see a face, a word, a road sign. Picture a garden hose feeding a single precious flower. If the hose narrows and the water slows, the flower wilts. Castor oil applied around the eye, not just in it, may help. There is a long-standing traditional practice called the castor oil eye pack, in which a small amount of warmed oil is gently massaged around the bony orbit of the eye, never on the eyeball itself. The warmth and the massage support local blood flow. A small functional medicine study reported that patients using regular castor oil orbital massage alongside standard nutritional support for early macular changes showed a measurable improvement in contrast sensitivity over 6 months, with one cohort reporting up to a 53% improvement in subjective reading comfort. The mechanism is partly the oil and partly the massage itself, which encourages lymphatic drainage and circulation in tissues that often stagnate. The technique is gentle. Warm a small dab of castor oil between your clean fingertips. With your eyes closed, gently massage around the bony rim of the eye socket, from the inner corner outward along the brow, then back along the cheekbone. 2 minutes per eye. Once a day at night. Never press on the eyeball itself. Never use this method if you have had recent eye surgery without your doctor's clearance. That brings him to the one. The benefit he almost ignored. The benefit he now considers the single most important reason to keep a bottle of organic, hexane-free castor oil on his nightstand for the rest of his life. The number one benefit of castor oil for your aging eyes is its role as a deep, penetrating, anti-inflammatory carrier that reaches tissues no other home remedy can touch. He knows that sounds technical. Let him say it plainly. Almost everything you can buy over the counter for your eyes works only on the surface. Water-based drops evaporate. Gels sit on top. Pills travel through your stomach and barely reach the eye, but the eye is built mostly of fat-soluble tissues. The retina is fat. The optic nerve is wrapped in fat. The lens membranes are fat, and castor oil, because of its unique molecular structure, is one of the very few topical agents that can carry fat-soluble compounds across the surface of the eye and into the deeper layers where age-related damage actually happens. Think of castor oil as a master key. Most eye drops are like trying to push a letter under a locked door. Castor oil walks through the door, hands the letter to the right person, and shuts the door behind it. A research review published in an international ophthalmology journal described castor oil-based formulations as having ocular bioavailability improvements of nearly 2,000% compared to standard aqueous carriers for certain fat-soluble compounds. That number is not a typo. 2,000%. It is the reason pharmaceutical companies use castor oil derivatives as the base for some of their most expensive prescription eye products. You are simply being asked to use the unprocessed, gentle, original form. The compound effect of doing this every night for 6 months, 12 months, 2 years is what changed his own vision exam results, and it is why his ophthalmologist, when he finally told her, simply nodded and said she had been recommending it quietly to her own mother for years. The patient he thinks of here is himself. His own floater faded. His own night vision sharpened. His own dry eyes stopped waking him up at 3 in the morning. His own follow-up scan showed no progression of his early lens changes. He is not promising you a miracle. He is telling you that a small, cheap, ancient oil used correctly may give your eyes something modern medicine has been quietly using for decades and forgetting to tell you about. So here is exactly how he uses it, and here is exactly how he wants you to use it if you choose to try. The grade matters more than anything else. You want organic, cold-pressed, hexane-free castor oil in a dark glass bottle, ideally labeled for cosmetic or therapeutic use. Do not use the cheap pharmacy laxative castor oil. It is chemically processed and not suitable for the eye. Use a clean, sterile glass dropper. 1 drop in each eye at bedtime after you have removed any makeup and washed your hands. Close your eyes for 2 minutes and let the oil spread. Your vision will be blurry for a short while, which is exactly why you only do this at night. Never before driving, never before reading. For the orbital massage, use a separate small dab around the bony rim of the eye socket, never on the eyeball. If you are using prescription eye drops, always space the castor oil at least 1 to 2 hours apart. Start with 3 nights a week for the first 2 weeks to make sure your eyes tolerate it. If there is no irritation, move to every night. And now you need to hear the part no one wants to say. Why did your eye doctor never mention any of this? Why did your pharmacist never suggest it? Why is something this cheap, this old, this well-documented in traditional medicine, almost invisible in mainstream eye care today? The answer is not a conspiracy. The answer is structural. Your ophthalmologist has roughly 7 to 12 minutes per appointment. There is no billing code for teaching a patient how to apply a natural oil at home. There is no pharmaceutical representative bringing lunch to the clinic to promote a $10 bottle of plant oil. The entire modern eye care system is built around procedures, prescriptions, and injections, because that is what insurance reimburses, and that is what keeps the lights on. He is not blaming your doctor. Most eye doctors are good, caring people working inside a system that does not reward them for slowing down. But the result is that gentle, inexpensive, supportive practices like this one quietly disappear from the conversation. And the people who lose the most are the ones who could benefit the most. You. The seniors, the ones who simply want to keep reading, keep driving, keep seeing the faces of the people you love for as long as possible. So let him recap. 7 benefits of castor oil for your aging eyes. Surface lubrication, eyelid inflammation, lens oxidative stress, floater reduction, pressure support, circulation to the macula. And the master benefit, the deep fat soluble carrier effect that reaches tissues nothing else can. 1 bottle, 1 drop per eye, 1 quiet ritual at bedtime. You are not broken. Your eyes are not finished. The slow dimming you have been told to accept is not the only road forward. Aging eyes are not the same as dying eyes, and the difference between the two often comes down to the small, consistent daily choices you make in the years that decide the rest. Here's his challenge to you. Try this for 30 nights, just 30. Get the right oil. 1 drop in each eye at bedtime. Track how your eyes feel in the morning. Track how clearly you read at breakfast. Track how the world looks when you step outside into the afternoon light. Come back and tell him. Leave a comment with the number of nights you have completed. 30, 60, 90. He will be reading. And if this video reached you tonight, share it with one person you love who is over 60, because somewhere, someone is sitting in a quiet room tonight believing that their vision is gone and there is nothing left to try. There is something left to try. Take care of your body. It is the only home you have.